Now that you were here last year, obviously, do you feel a little bit more? I mean, obviously you had some experience doing this kind of stuff before, but just a thought on trying to put the players in a position where they can, best show what they can do and succeed.
I think anytime you get to do it again, right? You're not failing. You're not talking about success. You're, like you said, you're starting from experience, right? So the year before the rookie tournament, it was a game in Calgary. There really wasn't, based on COVID and so the last 2 years for everybody are some little bit of normalcy. So to start from experience is always nice. You need to draw on those, and our message is try to be simple and concise, but then allow them some flexibility to show what their skills are.
All right, so you have Bourgault and Savoy and Tullio that were with you the entire year last year. Just a thought on what you're hoping to see out of those guys here at this tournament.
Yeah, what we saw last year from them was, Carter had an injury, but before that, they were an impactful. Ty as well, actually injury, but they were impactful and they played against their peers. When they played in the American Hockey League, you're talking about playing against men, battling the schedule and travel, all kinds of different experiences. So again, for them now, they're starting from experience here. So you'd like them and believe for them to be impactful, confident. They've taken on more of a leadership role as far as drills and answering questions in meetings, where before they were kind of that deer in headlight type person, which we have a new crop of those types coming in. So they're taking more of a leadership role, starting from experience, and believe they're a little more confident.
You have a couple guys that are 20 that are probably going to be on your team this year and working their way up in their bigger bodies. And that's Grube up front and then Max Wanner, and I saw that they're out there in your second power play unit as well. Just a thought on what you're hoping to see out of those guys who could be good long-range prospects for the Oilers.
Yeah, I think, Bob, you talked about it a lot, is having that right shot centerman, right? To have someone who can be in that role and hopefully grow into that role. Someone who's been a leader and a captain in WHL for 3 years. You look at the history of that, which I haven't, I know you have. It probably hasn't happened a lot, right? So I think the leadership qualities, big bodies, and to play a heavy game in a tournament like this, he's going to get some probably even more looks as far as playing all special teams, right? So that's going to give him some confidence going into NHL camp. I think Warner, he does a little bit of everything well, right? So I think, again, he saw him last year, got to play with Broberg, got to play with some different people and have those experiences, and then now he's being that guy of kind of being more of that leadership and kind of expressing that body language of confidence and shoulders high and chin up, giving that leadership role as well. So we look for those things from those guys, and a right shot D-man with good size in the round that the club got him, I think is pretty exciting.
How would you kind of characterize these games at these rookie tournaments when teams come together just a couple days before game number one? We know coaches love structure, but what do you kind of expect?
Yeah, we had a lot of success last year. We tried to draw on those experiences and be simple and concise. We want to be hard to play against, and it's an overused term, but if you're hard to play against, it takes hard acts and hard moments, and we're going to make mistakes. We want them to be aggressive, and we want to be hard on pucks, heavy in blue paint areas, and it's at the same time we don't want them freezing. And we had a moment in practice yesterday, we got about halfway through, they started to freeze because it was something new. So we'll draw on those experiences, and after game one we'll look at the film and we'll decide where we need to go from there.
I know you mentioned Max Wanner already with Bob, but what do you think has been the biggest catalyst for his development over the last couple of years since being drafted in the 7th round? He's really been turning some heads with his development.
What he's shown is that he has some offensive flair. He can move the puck, and I would classify him as a bit of a hybrid. He does a little bit everything well, and I think for him going into his first pro season, he'll have to establish himself and understand what his role is. But like you see today, he'll be on some power play. He'll get some PK looks, and that's what's important for our young players, is for them to develop different situations and go through those feelings to like myself, start from experience the next time they do it.
How do you help manage all of the emotions that are at the table on a tournament like this, a week like this?
Well, you know, it was the first thing I said when I walked in yesterday, and I said, "Hey, how exciting is this? That there's meaningful eyes on you, and it's an exciting time, and you've worked your whole life to have moments like this." So we meet it head on, but then we also try not to apply too much pressure. It's, hey, these are things that you know, these are things that you've done, and all the things that you have done to get here. Let's continue that. I think from the coaching staff, whether it's in practice, whether it's in meetings, whether it's on the bench, we have to show an act of calmness and an act of confidence. And because if we are losing our cool and we're freaking out, we're extending that message to that's how you have to respond when things don't go well. So those are going to be times that we have some successes and failures over this weekend. We need to be calm, we need to be confident, and we need to try to move forward.